Hello brothers and sisters, welcome to another episode here on Dangerous African Confessions HD. In this episode, we have the continuation of the story from our sister Lesedi, who comes from South Africa. Who, as we listened to in the previous episode, went to church with the aim of meeting this pastor for help. Only for her to wake up in a hotel room and realize someone has actually had his way with her. She tells us more about her encounter with this African pastor in this episode.
He said, "How can I tell him such thing? Because he is not the only one who had sex or slept with me. And he knows the fact that his two other friends also made love to me. So, how is it that I was only targeting him and not his friends?" This was when I realized the three of them made love to me. I never knew until when I went to the pastor to tell him that I am pregnant. This made me to take a drastic decision to abort the pregnancy, since I personally didn't know the person responsible for the pregnancy. This affected my womb and I fear I might not be able to conceive.
There is more in this captivating story that Lesedi shares with us. The kind of life and the things these pastors do to perpetuate their evil intentions. Now, she is experiencing problems in her life, and she is attributing it to the pastor as the cause of her problems. She says her attempt to get the pastor to do something about her problem didn't yield any good results. Telling us to be more careful of our pastors, especially ladies, because the kind of problems she's facing now is what caused her to tell us her story. As part of our policy, I've edited the names to hide their identity. Without wasting much of your time, let's go and listen to the story.
When I woke up, I was naked on the bed in our hotel room. But then, my friend was not around. I checked and realized someone has had his way with me. Semen and starchy water were all over my private part. I started shouting and calling my friend, but there was no response. So, I picked my phone and called her. But her number was switched off. I decided to go and check at the pastor's room. I went and knocked and the pastor came out. He looked like someone who was asleep. I asked about my friend and he told me that he sent her to go and arrange something for him back in Durban. Things didn't make sense to me. I told him about what has happened to me. And he asked me to keep calm. He promised to get to the bottom of it. So, he called someone from the reception and started asking him questions about who came around when we might be sleeping. The receptionist said that he came on duty that night and can vow that no one came to where we were. He said that it was only in the morning that a lady from our side came out saying she was going to Durban. The description did fit my friend, just like the pastor had said. After that, the pastor told me he will get to the bottom of it when we get back to Durban. Because all his friends are also gone. He asked me to go get ready so we can get back. When we came to Durban, he gave me 3,500 rand as part of the money he promised to give me. He dropped me and he went home promising to help me find the truth of what happened. I spent 2 days trying to reach this friend on phone and it was not going through. I went to her shop several times and I only met her assistant. This kept on. Then the following Sunday I decided to go to the church. I felt I was going to meet her there and take advantage of it and find out what and how that thing happened to me. I got to the church and there she was. I didn't talk to her until the service was over. I approached her and she was telling me the pastor had sent her to come back to Durban to do something for him. I asked her why she left me. She could have asked me to come with her, knowing very well that I didn't know anybody there. She said she knew the pastor would take care of me and didn't want to wake me up since I was sleeping. She asked why I was angry. So, I told her everything. I narrated what I woke up to meet and the actions the pastor took. She angrily rushed to the pastor's office. I wanted to follow her, but she asked me to wait for her outside. In about 5 minutes, she came out with the pastor to where I was sitting by then. The pastor said he has asked his friends and they are also saying they never entered my room. The pastor asked me not to let the incident come out. Because even though he knows nothing about it, it would tarnish his image. He said, people might think he knows something about it. After saying that, he said he was going to compensate me.
Please kindly subscribe, share and like our videos. Kindly hit the notification bell so you will be the first to get notification to our videos when we upload. Thank you, and let's get back to the story.
He gave me 7,000 rand and begged me not to raise the issue again. This is how the issue died, between the pastor and I, but then something didn't sound right to me. My question was how someone that I've gone to a place with you could leave me all alone with total strangers. So, I discussed with one woman who advised that I report the case to the police and let them do the needful investigation. I did just as she told me, and my friend was picked up for questioning. The pastor too was invited to the police station and he also gave his statement. To my surprise, after the pastor left the station, that was the end of the case. It was as if nothing has happened. When I go to the police to find out the progress of the case, they would tell me they are still on it. To the point where they told me that they needed the CCTV footage at the hotel to ascertain my claims. I was all for it until they said I should pay for the fuel in their car for the transportation to Umlotsi. So, I told them I'm ready to pay for the fuel so we can go. The police in charge of the case then told me that I should wait for a day when they can have time to go with me. When the day comes, they will call me. It was at this time I knew something was not right. I told the woman about it and told her that I wanted to let go of the case, since even the police are not willing to help me. She said, if that is what will bring me peace, she can't force me into doing something that I don't want to do. Before leaving her place, she said that if I were to be her daughter and this thing happened, she would have shown the pastor and my friend that there is power and there is power that passes power. In about a month, I saw changes in me. Things were not right in my system, so I decided to go for checkup. It was there that I got to know that I am pregnant. This was a very serious situation for me. So, right from the checkup, I went to my friend's shop and told her that I am giving her up to that weekend. If I do not get to the bottom of the issue, I will call on the God Sango and curse her with it. This thing that I said to her, I didn't even know what came over me. In some few hours after I said that to my friend, I saw the pastor calling me on my phone. I answered his call and he wants us to meet at his church premises and talk. I told the woman who asked me to go to the police station about it and she said she will accompany me to the place. She said it was not proper for me to go alone, since anything can happen. We went and sat with the pastor. On our way going, the woman took eggs, local gin and foreign ones as well. I asked what was the purpose of the items. This woman took the role of my mother. And she said that we should first go and meet my friend. We went to my friend's shop and she was about stepping out. We insisted we sit down and talk. The woman brought out the eggs and the other items she brought with her. She placed it in our middle and I saw her brought out this animal tail. She then placed the egg and the tail in my friend's palm and she started speaking in some strange language. After everything, she asked my friend to tell us whatever she knows about the issue. The woman said she only needs to smash the egg on the floor and if my friend knows something about the incident, she will go mad. This caused her to tell us that, indeed she's been taking ladies to the pastor and his friends for their pleasure. And in return, they reward her with money, which she used some to establish her shop. So, when she asked me to accompany her to the church for God to help me, I was rather going to help satisfy the desires of her pastor. It was after this that the woman told me that she is a traditional healer. But then, she does not have a place for consultation. She only helps people when she feels they need her help. So now, it was clear I was taken to the place not because of the program, but my friend was actually recruiting me for such act, without my knowledge. The next day, the woman and I went to meet the pastor. When we reached there, my friend was also present when we got there. I introduced the woman as my mother. The pastor said he only wanted to see me so we can settle things amicably. But then, as soon as he said that, the woman brought out the eggs and the other item she brought with her. She placed it in our middle and I saw her brought out this animal tail and she asked the pastor to pray before we start the meeting. After his prayers, this woman also did her prayers and went straight to ask my friend what she knows about the issue. Fear was all drawn over her face. But then, she said she knew nothing about what I was complaining about. The woman asked her to hold onto the egg and she placed the animal tail on it. She started speaking in a strange language. In about some few seconds into that, the pastor asked my friend to drop the what was in her hands. He said, he is the one responsible for all that happened and didn't want my friend to face any problem. He said indeed he slept with me. And didn't know how I was going to react when he tells me. That is why he acted innocent. I was shocked. First, not because he was telling me the truth. But then, it was clear he was afraid of the woman. But then, I know the power of God surpasses all powers. So why was he ready to tell everything to the woman? Something that I have involved the police and you said nothing about. After he said all that he wanted to say, I told him I was pregnant. And it was as a result of what happened in the hotel room. I fear I might not be able to conceive. Because after I told him about the pregnancy, he can't be responsible for it. He asked me how can I tell him such thing. Because he is not the only one who had sex or slept with me. The woman then asked him what he meant by that. He then said that his two other friends also made love to me after he had his own with me. So, how is it that I was only targeting him that he is the one responsible for the pregnancy? This was when I realized the three of them made love to me. I never knew until that very moment when I told him that I am pregnant. This made me to take a drastic decision to abort the pregnancy since I personally didn't know the person responsible for the pregnancy. This affected my womb and I fear I might not be able to conceive. After everything, the woman told him to compensate me because everything he said was recorded. And if he refuses to compensate me, she will personally go ahead and report him to the police and release the audio to the public. Because of that, this man agreed to give me 50,000 rand. But then, he first gave me 25,000. Since I didn't know who really is responsible for my pregnancy, I decided to abort the pregnancy. And after everything, I am afraid that I might not be able to conceive. Because, after the abortion, when I am there, out of nowhere then sometimes I will realize there is some blood coming out of my private part. I went for scan and the doctor said, something happened when I did the abortion. But then he told me not to worry. He gave me medicine that he says will correct that. But then, I am afraid I might not be able to have children. This is my story. Please my sisters, be careful of who you call your friend. They are the very people that can sell you to your enemies. Thank you and may God bless everyone listening to my story.
Like I always say, these are not just stories for story's sake. They are meant for us not to make these mistakes our brothers and sisters are making. That's why we share these stories with you. Let us please be vigilant of some of these people parading as men of God. I know there are genuine men and women of God out there. But then, beloved, let us be mindful of where and who we associate with as our leader. I pray that we learn from some of these stories and live a better life. Do the little you can and ask your Creator to bless your handwork. Please let's be mindful of the choices that we make. Thank you for being a part of this growing family. Kindly share your thought with us in the comment section below. And if you are new here, please subscribe, like and share. Stay blessed and be safe.